and review some of these masterpieces. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to begin this episode, I want to first present to you circles with human body parts on them, because really that's all they are.
And some other people from the community who you may recognize are Spoctor Tech or Spoctor Theory. Spoctor, you know, the guy who's a furry, but he's like a dinosaur or a lizard, so he has scales, I guess, so he's somewhat not a furry. That guy, Deviant Cringe, you would probably count. He was like the worst Solar Sans. There was this one guy, PK Russell, who, the last I heard of him, he like posted his asshole on Twitter or something like that. But he's definitely he was definitely in that community making videos about like TikTok cringe or Cuphead cringe or stuff like that. Pentagrin was an old name you may also recognize from back then. Digby the Goat, just a robot. And whereas some channels would make like one video or 2 or 3 videos doing like a series on that kind of thing, their bread and butter of their entire channels were mostly reacting to this like cringe content or talking about art. And they really thrived on that kind of thing. Whereas, let's say I Hate Everything would make one video about DeviantArt cringe or 2 videos about DeviantArt cringe. Their whole channels were like DeviantArt cringe, cringy artwork, cringy content on the internet. And that was just kind of what they did, right?
Why? Because being a woman is the worst. It's like playing one of your video games without the stick of happiness.
Do you mean the joystick?
I can't believe they let that get past the censors. For those of you who don't get the joke, the joystick is a metaphor for
Why? Because being a woman is the worst. It's like playing one of your video games without the stick of happiness.
Do you mean the joystick?
I can't believe they let that get past the censors. For those of you who don't get the joke, the joystick is a metaphor for penis. For penis.
Just a Robot was definitely in that community, I would say. Although his content was a little more different than just like reacting to cringe. A lot of the memes from that community kind of became the whole like responding to a video that's responding to a video that's responding to a video, and it's just like this never-ending meme of video responses on YouTube, right? That was a big meme back then. And they all kind of had their own little circle of friends and dramas and controversies that existed back then in like 2016, 17, 18, and was focused more on art and animation, but they also criticized each other. It was gay and it was cringe, just as gay and cringe as any other YouTube community, but whatever, right? Just how it is with stuff like that. There's no denying that the community existed. It was a thing. It was somewhat tangible. And, yeah.
I have no words. It speaks for itself, honestly. It speaks for itself. Let's just dive right in. Before we go any farther, though, you have to realize that you cannot tell me that you don't like some fucked up things. You can't tell me that. So please, do not go after any of these artists who make these pictures here or who are involved at all in any of this. Do not go after them. Do not bully them. Do not witch hunt them. They're people just like you who are into weird things, just like you are.
Well, time passed, and eventually some people started to move on. Solar Sans, after some experimentation with content, settled on video essays about artwork. Spoctor moved to more of a traditional video essay commentary type thing on the internet. He kind of talks about a lot of stuff, but his videos don't really resemble what he used to talk about at all. Honestly, I like his new videos a lot better than anything he did back then. I think they're very interesting. All of the big names have really moved away. There weren't many of them to begin with. Like, the community was not that huge. I don't think there was even one person that was over like 500K back then, at least. But they did move away. They transcended the community to do bigger and better things. So all that was left was a few people with a few thousand subs talking on Discord about nothing and like barely posting videos to a dying audience, right? And that's where this video, the topic of today's video, the current situation really comes in. I don't think there was even one person that was over like 500K back then, at least, but they did move away. They transcended the community to do bigger and better things. So all that was left was a few people with a few thousand subs talking on Discord about nothing and like barely posting videos to a dying audience, right? And that's where this video, the topic of today's video, the current situation really comes in. Over the the last few weeks, these scraps of the rant community have been, well, scrapping, and they've been fading away one by one as new dramas and expose videos affect their internet lives. Kai Weiss was in the community. He was a decently prominent figure, I would say, and he had this whole drama where he was accused of, and is, at least to me at the very least, probably pretty guilty of domestically abusing his girlfriend, Omnia. I did a video about that, but yeah, that was a totally messy situation, completely off the walls, did not expect it, did not see it coming, and it's probably the most intense allegation out of all of these, but there have been some more accusations. For example, someone named Feghost, who wasn't super popular to begin with, had a video come out about him that eclipsed his entire sub count and popularity as a whole, which basically uncovered the fact that he claimed that he had bullied someone who took their own life after high school or something, and he had groped some chicks at a party.
Essentially, some things that Feghost has done in the past have recently come out. I don't really want to get into it because I'm not necessarily directly affected by this, so if you could go check out my friend's video, Dulu or Vabzikin, link down in the description. The first link that you see will be Dulu. I'll probably pin it in a comment as well. If you want all of the context from a good, reliable source, I would say go to Dulu. However, I will be, summarizing it to the best of my ability.
Honestly, I hardly care about what he actually did. I'm not super invested in the story. I'm kind of looking at it from the outside. Definitely from the video I've seen about him, he seems like a loser from my perspective. And someone named the Names Junkie has also been someone who has been talked about a lot. This was a guy who was friends with many people in the community and was more recently outed for lying to some people on Discord. I believe that was his biggest crime, being duplicitous to manga comment or something.
No, this has to do with the situation surrounding her. No, this has everything to do with the Names Junkie.
The Names Junkie.
It's junky. It should have been obvious from the get-go from the goddamn tin of this can of worms. As you know,
You wonder why people are trying to ruin one another in this community. It's because of this mindset that anger and wrath wins. Oh boy, you lied to people. To the gulag you go! Forget the good you did for people. Forget the fact that you basically built the foundation of my channel and helped me get on my feet, junkie. You lied about people, and someone decided to out you for it. It's time to crucify you and make you walk on eggshells. I mean, look at the video calling him out.
I don't want your disingenuous, half-hearted, slimy, bitch boy apology.
That's no way to treat people on a platform. Even if they've angered you, that aggression only serves to progress the issue.
I'm gonna be totally honest, I like some of these guys, some of them make okay videos. Spocter is alright, I like Solar Sands. Just a Robot said that I'm his favorite YouTuber, which means that I can't talk negatively about him. I feel like I'm not that great, but whatever. But in any case, all of these fatties and splatties decided to call each other out. Some of which was for more justified reasons, some of which was for less justified reasons or more petty reasons. At least things that people should be less mad for. And now, whatever was left of the rant community is basically disintegrating into thin air before our very eyes. Any relevance that they once had to the broader YouTube community is now gone, and the remnants of it are eating each other alive with what little fans they have left. To give you perspective, the biggest video about any of this is from Spocter with 100,000 views. And it's an interesting watch for sure, and it's not a bad video. I liked it. But it's not like all eyes are on this guy and this community drama, right? Just a Robots video that's like a feature-length movie, okay, clocking in at 1 hour and 20 minutes long, has 77,000 views. And that's not bad views, right? Especially for their channel sizes. I'm not, coming here to be length movie, okay, clocking in at 1 hour and 20 minutes long, has 77,000 views. And that's not bad views, right? Especially for their channel sizes. I'm not, coming here to be like, you're irrelevant, because it's not like that. But it's not exactly viral content. It's not like all of YouTube is waiting with bated breath. It's very, very niche internet drama. I guess in some cases, I feel bad when I see a group of online creators fall into a shithole or get absolutely burned to the ground. Sometimes it sucks to see a bunch of people fall apart online, right? But honestly, in this case, from what I've seen, all of the talented people, all of the people who are worth watching have left the community, prior to this. They've ascended, they're making different kinds of content, and the only people left are kind of untalented, and they kind of suck anyway, so, I don't know, should I really feel bad about them being thrown into the shadow realm? What were they really offering to begin with?
Being angry about private messages being leaked is merely a result of inconsistency. If you're honest about who you are and the people you communicate with, it really